The Alphabet from a Long Time Ago by Ava Spiegler. A very long time ago, people used pictures instead of words to communicate. They could use pictures only for things they could see or touch. They found it was hard to say feelings or other things they could see or touch, such as afternoon, happy, sad, or mean. So around 2000 BC, BC stands for before Christ, the Egyptians invented the first alphabet. The symbols represented sounds, not things you could see or touch. For example, the I and IH sounds were represented by a reed leaf. The Egyptians invented the written alphabet because number one, they wanted to see what people wrote over and over again, and number two, they didn't have phones, so they wanted to send letters. The system was called hieroglyphics. In English, the word means sacred carvings. The alphabet was passed from Egypt to the Sinai Peninsula, and then to Phoenicia, and then Greece, and finally to Rome. Our alphabet is very similar to the Roman alphabet. So the beginnings of our alphabet are about 4,011 years old. The people in each of the different countries changed it around a little bit. For example, in classical Greek, the G looked like a C. So in classical Greek, the G would look like a C. And because they all changed it around a little bit, so the G would look like a C. And when you look, letters in our alphabet today have history. Most of the history is from the Middle East, where our alphabet comes from. For example, our English A looks like an ox with those horns still on. An ox was an important animal to people in the Middle East a long time ago. When you look at B, it might not look a good home, but it is based on the word bet, which means house or home in the Middle East. We don't really know who exactly invented the alphabet. Different people probably helped. For example, a Roman writer said that it was a teacher and former slave who suggested putting the letter G in the alphabet around 240 BC. But nobody really knows if that's true. The alphabet is used all around the world, but some people don't use our alphabet. Here are a few examples. The Roman alphabet is most used, but there is also Hebrew, Arabic, Greek, Indian, and Cyrillic. Characters from China were created in about 1600 BC. There are alphabets that blind people use and that deaf people use. Deaf people use sign language, and blind people use the Braille alphabet. People also use the Morse code, semaphores, and the code of the high seas. These alphabets were created for communication over long distances. Morse code is used for using dots and dashes. Semaphores are red and yellow flags held in different positions. The code of the high seas is made up of different types and colors of flags, each representing a different letter of the Roman alphabet. Charles, are you raising your hand or just stretching? Okay. Rebuses are words or letters combined with pictures. It's kind of hard. I have an example, so I need to write it on the whiteboard because it's kind of hard to say. So the letter U and then R. So GR 8 at 2 plus 3. Can anybody guess what that means? And rebuses. So rebuses are words or letters combined with pictures. Okay, it means you are so great at math. Now our alphabet is in capital letters: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. And in lowercase letters, it's the same thing. And as you can see, the alphabet is very old and very cool. Thank you. Is the poster back?
It is. Maybe Miss McNeil could help you?
Yeah.
She wanted to save it till the very end to show.
All right.
Maybe if you clip it on the board, then you can be able to.
Two. All right.
This is an example of Rebus's, and this is an example of Roman letter B. So this would be B in the Sinaitic letter, and this would be B from when the Phoenicians made it, because it was passed from Egypt to the Sinai Peninsula and then to Phoenicia. So I don't think it shows the hieroglyphics of it, but so this is from the Sinai Peninsula, this is from Phoenicia, this is from Greek, and this is from Greek, and this is from the Roman, and it looks a lot like our familiar letter, which is B. And there are a lot of facts, and it will be hung out by the hallway, so if anybody wants to look at it more, then it will be hung outside by the hallway.
Hey, nice job, Eva. Any questions or comments?
Questions or comments? Yes, Jonas?
What are most of the other letters?
Oh, most of the other letters like this.
Which other most letters in a different alphabet?
Yeah.
Explain what you're asking. Like, what are some of the other different alphabets?
Some of the other different alphabets. Well, I think I said that there's also Arabic, Hebrew, Cyrillic. I think there's also Hebrew, Arabic, Greek, Indian, and Cyrillic. And there are a lot of different alphabets, but there are also those. Any more questions or comments? Yes, Mrs. Levy?
I'm wondering, how did you find out this information? What were the steps that you went through in your process?
So I had to first I went to the library with Mrs. Levy, and we found a book on the alphabet, 2 books actually. And then I studied the books, so I put all my information on index cards. Then I actually wrote my information down in a very unusual order, and then I did it on the computer in a better order.
But that was a good learning step for you, because it's not easy to figure out how to organize that information. So that was all learning for you. It was cool.
Yes.
What was the most interesting thing you found out during your research?
There were a lot of interesting things, so I don't know.
You don't have one you can think about? Maybe not the most interesting, but share one of the
I
most
thought
interesting things.
Rebus's were pretty interesting, I think.
I agree.
Yes, Ava? Did you find out more information, or is that all? I think I tried to put all the information into my report that I found.
The alphabet?
Yes.
Try to put every letter in the alphabet?
Well, I did actually.
So you
At
did.
the end, I did our alphabet, but not all the different letters and all the different alphabets. Yes,
So I bet those are harder. Right?
Yes, Raphael?
I'm not raising them.
Oh.
So what's one thing you learned from Ava? What did Ava teach you about the alphabet? Is there anything cool you learned that you didn't know before? What's one cool thing you learned?
Ava, what's one cool thing you